Hi, my name's Phil Gardner and welcome to Fun with Boxes. Today I'm taking a look at a really small but wonderfully packaged card game called Kiri-Ai, the Duel, designed by Japanese game designer Kamibayashi and published by Mugen Gaming, whose aim is to bring the best games from Japan to the US and beyond. We first saw Kiri-Ai, the Duel, at Essen last year, but unfortunately it was sold out very quickly indeed. So I was delighted to see the game released here in the UK recently, and simply had to pick up a copy right away. This is a tiny card game, think button-shy wallet games here, with only 16 cards, but packaged in the most delightful Japanese-style samurai wallet that I think is worth the price of the game on its own. I love that so much. Before we take a look at the game and how it plays, let's take a Fun with Boxes look at this tense samurai battling game. In Kiri-Ai the Duel, each player has a small hand of 6 cards that represent movements, attacks, or special attacks on the battlefield. Each player has a standard set of 5 identical cards and 1 random special attack card, and at the beginning of each round, each player will place 2 cards from their hand face down next to the battlefield, after which they resolve the actions of 1 card one at a time. Some cards allow players to advance or retreat in relation to the opponent, or strike high or low blows, or change their stance and even charge at their opponent to strike them. Strike your opponent twice and win in this super quick 5-minute duel game. Let's take a look at the components and setup of the game. There are 16 cards in total in the game, and the first card represents the battlefield and is double-sided. One side has 5 positions on it and is the basic recommended starting battlefield to play your duels on. And the other side is for more experienced players and has 7 positions to battle on. Next you have the 2 cards representing the dueling samurais, red and blue. Again, each double-sided, with the players starting on the light samurai side and switching to the dark samurai side if struck once by their opponent. If they struck again, then they lose the duel. Each samurai is placed on either side of the battlefield at a 45-degree angle so that their white-tipped corners attach to the matching white position on the battlefield, with their uninjured white silhouetted side face up and in heaven stance. The samurai can stand in either heaven stance with their katanas raised or earth stance with their katanas at a lower angle, but they start the game with them raised in heaven stance. But our brave samurai need weapons and a means to attack. Each samurai has a deck of 5 identical cards matching their colour, red or blue, plus they get an orange special attack card drawn randomly from 3 available cards, with the card not used returned unseen to the game wallet. Of the 5 identical cards, 2 of these represent movement. This card will advance your samurai 1 battlefield space forward on the battlefield. However, rotate the card and it will instead retreat your samurai 1 battlefield space. The second movement card will allow you to charge 2 spaces forward at your opponent, while rotating it to the other side allows you to change your stance from heaven to earth, or earth to heaven, high to low, or low to high attacking stance. The 3 other starting cards are used to attack, the first of which is the balanced strike, which is a sideways slash that will hit your opponent regardless of what stance you are currently in, so long as you are both at the same location on the battlefield. The next is a high strike, which is a longer distance slash from above that will strike your opponent 2 spaces in front of you. But to use this attack you must be in heaven stance, which this icon reminds you. The third attack card is the low strike, which is an attack delivered from a lower sword position and will strike your opponent 1 space in front of you. And this of course can only be dealt if you are in the low earth stance, and this icon will remind you of this. So the most important thing to remember here is that you need to be in the correct stance to use certain attacks. So make sure you maneuver yourself appropriately before committing to an attack. That's your 5 basic cards that both samurai have. There are 3 additional special attack cards, and one of these will be added to each samurai at random before the battle begins. The first is the Kessa strike, which can strike 2 spaces, the space you are in and the space in front of you. This can only be used in heaven stance, and as soon as you've used it, you switch to the earth stance. Next there is the Zantetsu that will hit the second or third space in front of you that can only be used on earth stance. And after striking with this, you switch to heaven stance. And finally, there is the counter-attack card, which cancels a successful attack or special attack and instead deals damage back to your opponent. If, however, your opponent does not do a successful attack against you, then the card does nothing. So that's the cards and the setup. Our 2 samurai are poised on the battlefield, ready to fight. Now, how is the game actually played? Each round, the players play 2 cards face down in front of themselves, and both these cards will be played this round, starting with the one closest to your opponent, and then the second card. Each card is then flipped over simultaneously, and the cards actioned in this order. Movement cards always occurring first, meaning that if one player played a move card and the other an attack card, the move card would activate first, and then the attack. Movement cards played in heaven stance move first in this order: charge, then approach or retreat, and change stance. And then, once any movement cards have been activated, the attack or special attack cards all occur at the same time. 2 important things to be aware of here. With movement, you may never pass your opponent. If you would do so, you must stop at their space. And the other thing to be aware of is that if 2 movement cards have the same priority, then they occur at the exact same time. If the resulting moves cannot be performed successfully, then the samurai cards move to the closest space that results in equal movement. After both cards have been flipped over and played for their actions, each player will return the first card played to their hands and will set aside the second card for 1 round. This will mean that after the first round, there is 1 card set aside. This card will be replaced by the second card played that round and returned to the owner's hand. If any orange special attack card is played, however, it is discarded and will not be available for the rest of the game. These are one use. The game continues in this manner until one samurai has been struck twice and is defeated. Well, this really is a special little game. The plastic cards are great quality and the artwork stylistic and unique, as well as providing clear iconography to support their use in the middle of an intense battle. And the package is sublimely rounded off with a replica samurai wallet. This is a visual treat and fantastic quality. And the game itself is played very quickly as you try to outwit your opponent, changing stances, approaching or retreating, manoeuvring yourself into a position to deal your blow that will take you 1 strike closer to victory. I have no hesitation in recommending this game. It fits in your pocket, it takes up very little space to play, and you can play a game in a few minutes. A perfect little filler game, and a big Fun with Boxes thumbs up from me. Well, I do hope that you've enjoyed taking a look at Kiri-Ai, the Duel, with me. Please consider giving this video a thumbs up and even clicking that subscribe button, which would mean the world to me. And in the meantime, thanks as always for watching, please take care, and bye for now.